What's going on? Welcome back to another video. This is your boy Used Pasta. Today I figured I'm gonna be doing a tier list video. This is a little bit late, but this is gonna be a tier list video about the new Generation 9 shiny Pokemon. And I figured I would go in order. I just pulled up this random tier list that someone else created, and it has all the Pokemon, as you can see here. It's got all the shiny Pokemon from Generation 9, and I figured I'd go and rate them all. I did change the tiers, so starting with S tier, we have Super S, love it. Definitely gotta hunt for it, gotta grind to hunt for it. A will be something I will hunt for, but it's not, it's optional. B is, or actually A is something I have to hunt for, it's, not optional. B is the optional one. B is like, okay, this is a good shiny, I'll hunt it, possibly. C is, I'm not gonna hunt for it, but I will catch it if I see it. If I catch all these, I may eventually get around to it. D, I'm probably not gonna hunt for this. It's gonna hurt my eyes. This is mostly gonna be for the smaller ones that are not super great. And then L is its own category. I think it needs no further introduction. It's just L. If I put a Pokemon here, it is the worst. It is absolutely awful. I will not hunt for it. I will not catch it if I see it, because I probably won't. It's probably not even much different. Anyway, starting with this one, we're starting very weak. This Pokemon is very non-different. It is the exact same thing, just with the eyes and the beak swapped. I will not hunt for this. Absolutely not good. I don't even know what this bird's called. Bombirder, I think it's called. I fought it. It was a Titan. That's all I want to see of it. Next. I don't know what this Pokemon's called. I keep forgetting what it's called, but it has something to do with paint. Graphite, I think. But I'm going to put it in, I will catch it if I see it. It's a decent shiny, but, it has nothing that really stands out other than the eyes and the whiteness of the face. It's got too many conflicting colors for me to really care much about it. If I saw its evolution form, which I don't think I've seen its evolution form yet, shiny, I may see if that changes my mind. Veluza. Oh man, Volton Veluza. I love this shiny. Absolutely. It's so easy to notice, especially inside of water. And that's the problem I have with a lot of water shinies in this game. Most water shinies are not very noticeable because they are not, they're underwater. It's already changing their base color because they're underwater. So I'll say that this one is, I'll hunt for it. I don't like to hunt in water, but this one's worth it. On the opposite spectrum, Ceruledge. They did my boy dirty. Ceruledge is one of my favorite Pokemon in this generation. I think that's a shared opinion that a lot of people have. I've got to put it in L. They had so much opportunity here to do so much good with it, and they changed its eyes from like blue to orange. That's all they did. It's not great. Next is this loaf of bread dog. I love bread dog. Bread dog's great. I'll optionally hunt for it. It's not fantastic. It's just a little darker. It looks like someone left the bread in the oven too long. I'll hunt for it, but maybe it'll be later on my list. Now, I think this thing's called I can't remember what this thing's called, but it evolves from the Quaxley, and I think I'm gonna put this in. See, I can't catch it, but I think I'm gonna put it in B tier. So you would have to hunt with the Masuda method with this, or just regular egg hunting. And it's fine, but honestly, I think if I caught a shiny Quaxley, I would probably just keep it as a Quaxley. I may not evolve it all the way. I do like how it changes from a blue to a nice purple hue. It's pretty nice, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hunt for it. Next is this little tadpole, light bulb looking thing. L. Absolutely L. They changed the part of the Pokemon that did not need to change. The part that needed to change was this yellow helmet. The yellow helmet, the yellow light, is what's noticeable. if you look at this bottom part, it's in game. This is not noticeable. It's absolutely not noticeable. I would say it's probably my least favorite shiny. You're gonna hurt your eyes looking for it if you actually do go to hunt for it. It's not good. Even if you pass by it, you're probably not gonna know it's shiny. So next is a Pokemon that I can't speak out for. I do see the shiny, but I can't hunt for it because I own Pokemon Violet, so I can only hunt for the Violet Paradox Pokemon. But this one is called Screamtail, I believe, and its eyes change, which is basically just how Jigglypuff's shiny changes. You know, if I had Scarlet, I would hunt for it. I would call it optional, but it's huntable. You know, it's the eyes change. I like Jigglypuff regular. They didn't do anything out of the ordinary, but I like the red eyes. Capsakid. This one, I hate to put it here, but I'm going to put it in C tier because I would catch it if I saw it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to hunt for it unless I have like everything else I want first. It's not too terribly hard to see, but it's only a different shade of green, and I don't think that a different shade is good enough for me to go out of my way to hunt for it. Armarouge. This one is the exact same thing as Ceruledge. L, L, L. All the way. Absolutely terrible shiny. It also had so much potential with how vibrant the yellow and the red is. They could have changed it to so much else, but they just left it the same and changed the eyes. There was no reason that they had to do that, and they did. So absolutely going in L. Arctibax. It's a mid evolution, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in won't hunt. You know, I can't hunt for it anyway because I don't think Arctibax appears in the wild. I think you have to find a Frigibax and evolve it. So and it's also not too terribly different. It's a little different, but it's just not something I'd go out of my way for. I would evolve it all the way to probably Baxcalibur if I were going for the shiny. Palafin. Palafin is gonna go in A tier, and only because I like the purple. And you know what? I'm gonna do something different here. I'm gonna change it to B. When I come across Finizen, I'm gonna put them in A tier, which I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and put Finizen in A tier. Finizen looks great. It's, you know, it changes from blue to purple. It's easily noticeable. Maybe not so much in water, but when you have it on land, it's purely noticeable. I'm moving Palafin down to B tier because it's the same thing, but with a heart on its chest. And the heart doesn't change color, I don't believe. Or if it does, it doesn't change color very much. That being said, Hero Form Palafin is going in A tier. It is a lovely shiny. It goes from a nice light blue to a dark purplish color. It's very noticeable, it's very nice, but it's very niche. It's not something I'd go out of my way for because, you know, it's hard to evolve a Palafin into its hero form, or it's hard to change it into its hero form in battle, especially if it's something you're doing just to look at the shiny. You're not going to go out of your way to do that every time. That being said, let's move on. I love the Ruin Pokemon, but they're shiny locked in game, so I'm going to put them in L for now because they shouldn't have been shiny locked, even though I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. Chew, probably one of the best shinies in the game. I am a huge sucker for blue fire in Pokemon games, especially when it goes from red to blue. When you have like Emboar, it's shiny as blue. Ponyta, it's shiny as blue. I love it. I would hunt for it. But they're shiny locked, so they're going in L. Same thing goes for the the legendaries. They're also going in L. Not for the hate they get. I love the shiny legendaries, but they're shiny locked. And even if they weren't shiny locked, I'm sure that the one that you ride would be shiny locked. You're not going to be able to hunt for a shiny rideable Co-Ride-On or Me-Ride-On. That being said, moving on, we have Roaring Moon, I believe it's called. We're going to put it in A tier, and it would go in S, but I can't hunt for it, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably personal bias. It's a great shiny. It changes from a blue to a green, the same way that, let's see, I would compare it to regular Salamence. It changes from blue to green. I really like it. I can't hunt for it, so it's going in A tier. That being said, Dunsparce and Dunsparce. These shinies look exactly the same, except Dunsparce has a bigger segment. It has another segment in it, and I gotta say, I dig it, but it's going in B tier. It's optional, and the only reason I say that is because Dunsparce has a secret evolution to where you can get 3 body segments instead of 2. And if I sat there trying to hunt for a Dunsparce that evolves into a 3-segment Dunsparce, I would probably drive myself insane. I would not have fun. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and add Dunsparce. Oh, I can't add Dunsparce because he's not on the list. He's not a new shiny. Dunsparce looks exactly like Dunsparce. It would go in B tier as well. Now is where some of the bias will kick in. I own Pokemon Violet. I can hunt for all these Pokemon. I have hunted for a few of them. I'm going to say that Iron Bundle, it's A tier. It's pretty good. It's one of the better ones because it's a very noticeable change. Most of its body goes from red to a nice metallic color. I keep saying that being said a lot in this video, so I'm going to change it to having said that. So having said that, most, if not all, I actually believe all of the Paradox Pokemon from Pokemon Violet change from a regular color to a shiny metallic color. It's almost as if someone who was painting the Pokemon, like the robotic form of the Pokemon, just left it unpainted. That's, my headcanon for it. I'm going to go ahead and put Iron Thorns in the same category, A tier, because it changes very drastically. It's very vibrant. It goes from a nice green to a nice metallic color. And on the opposite spectrum, I am going to put Iron... What is this one called? Iron Wings or something? I can't remember. It's forgettable. I'm going to put it in D tier. It'll hurt my eyes. You know what? I'll put it in C. I'll catch it if I find it, but it'll hurt my eyes looking for it too much, because the only thing that changes are those little triangles. And I'm not really in the mood to hunt for something that small. I think I'm going to put the Hydreigon in B tier. It's good, but it's not as big of a change as I would want. I think if I were to make it shiny, I would not change the wings, but I would change the little purple mane around its heads. I am going to absolutely put Iron Hands in C tier. I do not want it. It is not great. I would have changed the yellow lights on it to a different color, but instead they changed the little top hat from blue to silver. And finally, for the... Oh, I forgot. I forgot Iron Thorns exist, but we're going to move over them for now. Iron Valiant, A tier. Again, love it. It changes from green to a nice metallic color. That might be a little biased, but I'll stick with it for now. Iron Thorns, it's going in D tier. It is not great. If you showed me this picture, I would think it wasn't shiny. The only thing that changes is the little space in between the trunk changes from black to a slightly more metallic gray. It's not great. It's hard to notice. I wouldn't hunt for it. I mean, I will eventually, but I'm not going to right now. It's very low on the list. Annihilate. I love Annihilate, but it's going in C. I'll catch it if I see it, but I'm not going out of my way for this thing. It's slightly changed, and I don't really care about Annihilate as a Pokemon anyway, so I guess it would be a little biased. Annihilate is very low in my list of Pokemon that I like, regardless. I'm going to say the same thing for Baxcalibur. I love Baxcalibur. It's a good Pokemon, but it's lacking. Especially when you look back on the other pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Hydreigon, Salamence, Tyranitar. All those Pokemon are awesome in their designs, and they have fantastic shinies. Baxcalibur is lacking. It is absolutely not something I would hunt for. Tandemaus. This is Mousehold, actually. L. It's going in L tier, and while I'm at it, Mousehold's going in L tier as well. You understand, I understand, we're going to move past it. We're not even going to talk about it. Farigiraf. See, I like Farigiraf's shiny, but it doesn't change too much. I'm going to put it in C. If I see it, I'll catch it, but I'm probably not going to go out of my way to hunt it. It's the same thing with Girafarig. It changes the nose to blue, and that's pretty much it. And for Girafarig, actually, the feet change to blue as well. I don't believe that Farigiraf's feet change color as well. So we're gonna put him in C tier. My boy, Paldean Wooper. He's going in S. I love Wooper. It's a great Pokemon, and it's a fantastic shiny. I would absolutely hunt for it. I have hunted for it. I found it. I love it. Clodsire, on the other hand, is kind of lacking. I'll put it in A tier. I love it. I love Clodsire as a Pokemon, but it's not Wooper. It's not Wooper. I cannot say that it's as good as Wooper. So next is the cat, Sprigatito, and its evolution state. I'm gonna put its evolution state in like C tier because it's just a little lighter. It's nothing to call home about. But I'm putting Sprigatito in B tier. I love Sprigatito shiny, especially it's a little lighter. I don't care much for that, but the eyes turn this nice shade of purple, and it is so easy to notice. It is so nice to hunt for in eggs. I always hunt for it in eggs, and every time it hatches, I look for its eyes. And if its eyes are purple, that's how you know it's a shiny, and I love that. Ah, the pig. Easy A. It reminds me of the pigs from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and the fact that you had a pink pig and you had a black pig, and most of the pigs in this game are black, but if it's shiny, it turns to a nice pink, and I love it. Just look at this boy and tell me he ain't noticeable. It's right there when you get out of Poco Path, or out of the lighthouse, and you go to Poco Path. It's right there, and it's super noticeable. And I love when they put super noticeable Pokemon right out in the starter area. Flamigo. I don't like Flamigo as a Pokemon, and I do not like the shiny. I'm putting it in D tier. I will not hunt for it. It goes from being a vibrant, awesome pink to a less vibrant chicken nugget goop pink, and I don't like that. I really don't. In the contrary, if it evolved, like if it gets an evolution in the future, which I absolutely think it should, I think its evolution would be really cool. Because you usually have these Pokemon that are really lame and really basic that don't have evolutions, and then in later generations they'll get an evolution that'll be really cool. Dunsparce unfortunately did not get that very cool evolution that we were hoping for. Anyway, Satotl, S tier, love it. It goes from being like a white snow color to a very dark gray, and the pink highlights turn orange. And it's very noticeable, especially for the region that Satotl spawns in. It spawns in the snow mountain, and in the snow mountain everything's white. So if you look at a white Satotl on white background, you're not going to see it very well. It's not going to be noticeable. But if you see a gray Satotl on a white background, easy to notice. And I love that. I love that fact. It's great. Fluttermane, I love you, but I'm putting you in B tier. The only reason I do that is because the shiny's not too much different from regular Misdreavus. It goes from being black to green. And I just don't like Fluttermane as a Pokemon in general. It is very lacking when it comes to its form. All they did was take Misdreavus and give it eyebrows, and then they called it a new Pokemon. You gotta try a little harder, Game Freak. If you want to make a new Pokemon, you gotta try a little harder than just slapping eyebrows on it. Flittle, L tier. I think the same thing as all the smaller Pokemon. They're small, they're barely changing. This one, you know what? I'm putting Flittle in D tier just because it changes more than the other small Pokemon, like Mousehold or Tadbulb. It changes in a way that is noticeable. And I feel like I would be able to notice this if I ran past it, but it would probably be rough. I'm putting Tinkatink in D tier because its hammer is so small that it's barely a noticeable change. And I think it's so much wasted potential. When you have a pink Pokemon like this, that's such a vibrant color, and you change its shiny form to just change the little hammer that it's holding, no, I don't like that. I really don't. Now, for both forms of Oinkologne, I'm going to put them in A tier. I still like that they use the pink hue of the pig, but there's just something about them. If I caught a shiny, man, I don't even remember the name of this Pokemon anymore. The shiny pig. If I caught the shiny pig, I would not evolve it, because I just like the vibrant, hot pink that the pig has to bring, and I don't think these really bring the same. Maybe this one, because it has vibrant pink hooves and snout, but Greavard is a great shiny. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I would hunt for it, but it's optional. Frigibax, I believe is how you say his name, he's alright. I'm gonna put him in C tier. He changes a little bit. His tassels turn to pink. I think the tassels are what does it for me. He's not too much different from his regular version, but the tassels turn from like an orangish to a pinkish, I believe, and it boosted a little bit for me. Now, the mid-evolution of Quaxly is better than the last evolution. So, I put the last evolution in B. I'm going to put this one in A, because it's lighter, it's very noticeable, and you know, if you see this one, you're going to say, oh, it's shiny, because it's not a dark blue, it's a light blue, and it's very nice. I really like it for some reason. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but that's just where I put it. Nacli, I like the Nacli shiny, but I think they should have did something with the rock. I think it's lacking. I think they should have changed the little white stripe in the rock to a different color as well. So I'm going to put it in B. It's huntable, but I'm not going to go out of my way. I would hunt for all the top ones first before I go for that. King Gambit, I love King Gambit. I'm going to put King Gambit in A tier. When you have a red Pokemon that's shiny and metallic and it goes to blue, shiny and metallic, I already told you I'm a sucker for red that goes to blue. I really am. It's very nice. Tinkaton. This is actually... I can't tell with these names anymore. You got Tinkatink, Tinkaton, and like Giga Hammer. I don't remember what the last one's called. But I'm going to put them all in the same tier. It's the same general basis. You have this bright pink Pokemon that you think its shiny is going to be, you know, like blue or green or something crazy. And it's just the same, but the hammer changes, you know, from like a metallic silver color to more of a bronzish color. Which isn't bad. I'm not going to put it in L, but it's just lacking. It's not what I would want. So this is Houndstone. Okay, and this is Greavard. I'm going to put Greavard in B tier as well. It's a great shiny. I love the nice yellow hue, but I don't like the fact that it hides underground. And the fact that the only thing that you see when it hides underground is the candle, and the candle doesn't change color. So there's really no reason, or there's no way to tell unless you walk up to it and make it pop out of the ground before you see it's shiny. Scovillain. I love Scovillain. I'm putting it in A tier. I wish they would have changed the heads, but I'm fine with what they did with the body. It's different enough to where I would hunt for it, and it's very noticeable, and I really like it. Dodonzo. Do I have to say anything else? S tier. It's so vibrant to see a white color that changes from a blue color. And when you see this in the water, it is massive, and it is easy to see. That is one of my favorite things in this game, is when you find a Pokemon that's shiny is easy to see. The only reason for that is because there's no sound when you find a shiny in the overworld in Scarlet and Violet. So if it's easy to notice, it's very easy to catch. So that's why it's going in A tier. Plus, I love my Ramen Boy. He's great. I think I'm going to use the same thing for Fido and put him in B tier, because it's the same thing as his evolved version. It's slightly darker. It looks like it was left in the oven a little too long, but honestly, this looks like a good like a good loaf of bread that I would eat. This looks like it might be a little bit burnt on the outside, which is still edible, but this looks, you know, not like raw dough. Now, is this brambling? I can never tell, but I'm going to put it in D tier. It's not great. I just don't like this Pokemon in general. It's not a good Pokemon. I don't think I even caught this Pokemon except to complete the Pokedex, and then I probably immediately released it. You don't hear anyone talking about it. You're not like, oh, Bramblin is like top in the league for Pokemon battles. No, it's not good at all. I don't even think it has a special move. I'm gonna move past that because I could go on for days about how bad Bramblin and its evolution line is, but we're gonna say Cloth, easy A tier. Look at the blue crab and just tell me it's not easy. Did I say A tier? I'm so sorry. S tier. I don't mean to disrespect my blue boy. S tier is so good. On the contrary, we have Charcadet. It's going in L. Again, same issue as its evolution states, Ceruledge and Armarouge. It could have done so much more, and they just changed the eyes. I'm just saying, it could have been more. It could have been great. Varoom and Revavroom. They're both going in B tier. I don't know why I would put them in B tier, because there's really not much else you could do with them. If you looked at the regular version of Varoom and Revavroom, and you were like, what do you think the shiny of this Pokemon is going to look like? You'd probably say, oh, well, it's metallic, so it would probably change to like a gold color. And you'd be right. I just think it's very bland, generic. You know, you could call it. You could say, oh, it's metallic, it's silver. I think its shiny would probably be gold. Yeah, it's obvious. It's too obvious. I'm going to leave it there. Titan, I'm going to give it the same treatment that I did Citadel. In fact, I like it even more than I do Citadel. It's so nice. Having a white Pokemon that turns black, sign me up. I love it. For every single one of these birds, they're called Squawkabilly. I hate Squawkabilly. I hate the shiny. They're all going in L. Every single one of them. I don't care. It just changes the hat. And the first time I saw Squawkabilly, it was yellow. I was like, okay, Squawkabilly, yellow, black hat, whatever. The next time I ran into one, it was white. It was white with a black hat, and I was like, oh, that must be the shiny. And I ran into it, and it wasn't shiny. So I had to look up what the shiny was, and I realized there's 2 more variants that I haven't seen. So that immediately gets an L for me. I don't understand why you would create a Pokemon that has 4 versions, and then I don't know. It's this. You know, I'm gonna do the same thing for these right now. These 2 are going in L because there's already a regular orange fish. I forgot what this fish is called, but Tatsugiri. But this white one's going in S tier because it's different. It's so easy to see in the water, and it's small. If you're making a small Pokemon, make the shiny noticeable. I'm telling you, Game Freak, that's how you need to make shinies from now on. If you make a Pokemon that is too small to see, make it shiny, very noticeable. So, these 2 Tatsugiri are going here. This one's going in S tier. Love it. Completely white, very noticeable. Moving on. Slitherwing, Volcarona. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. It goes from being red to a slightly more yellow. I'm going to put it in B tier. It's a good Pokemon. I'm not going to go out of my way to hunt it, but it's nice. It makes sense. It's understandable. Game Freak, you did what you had to do, and we understand. B tier. Let's move on. Oh, my Apple Boy. He is so nice. He's going in A tier. He's not quite S tier, but he's very nice. I mean, to go from a dark, nice red color to a very vibrant pink color, it's noticeable. When you're hatching in an egg, you're going to hatch it, you're going to know it's shiny before it even pops up the sparkles, you're going to freak out, and it's going to be great. You're going to have a good time. I'm going to say the same thing with Quaxley. If you're hatching Quaxley and you've seen a bunch of them, you're going to notice that the hair and the feet are very deep blue, and when you hatch it, it's going to be a very light blue. It's nice, you know. It's easy to notice. And I guess that means that I should move Sprigatito to A, but I'm going to leave it in B, mostly because it's a little less noticeable than these two. I just like the eyes. That's the only thing I like about Sprigatito is the eyes, and it doesn't give it enough to boost it up for me. Low kicks. Now, I think I have an unpopular opinion here because I don't like low kicks at all. I don't like bug type Pokemon really, but low kicks is like bottom of the barrel bug type for me. But I do agree it has a good shiny. I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's huntable. You know, it goes from black to green. I think they could have chosen a better color than this puke green they chose, but I digress. It's a good shiny. I'm gonna say the same thing for this one. It's A tier, and I love it because it's wearing a sombrero. I just wish the fire color would have changed. But having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and skip to Skeledirge. Skeledirge, easy S tier. Look at that pink. If the fire color would have changed, it would have been way much better. Like it would have been its own tier if the fire color changed, because I love it so much. I love Skeledirge. It's such a good shiny. Glimmora and Glimmet. I'm gonna put them in the same tier. Glimmet's small, but it's noticeable. I'm gonna put them both in B tier. Glimmet is small, but the thing about this small Pokemon is it's so noticeable because it's so different. It goes from a dark blue, both its tail and its little flower head, they go from a dark blue to a light blue, and it's easily noticeable. Same thing with Glimmora. It goes from a dark blue to a light blue. It's easily noticeable. It doesn't change too much, but it's a solid B. I'm going to do the same thing with this evolution. I forgot what this one's called. Meowscarada, I think. It's decent, but I wish they would have changed it a little more. I mean, they could have done so much more with this. Like, this little V shape on its head could have changed to a more vibrant color. I don't have to pick it apart. It just could have been better. B tier, it's decent, but they could have done better. Now, I don't know what these Pokemon are called, but I'm going to put them both in C tier. They're not... This one's much different. Like, oh, this one's Mastiff, and this one's Mabostiff. I think I'm going to change Mischief? I don't remember what this one's called. We're going to put it in B tier. It's better because it's more different. If you see this one, you're going to easily know it's shiny. This one, however, it already turns more dark. It's already a dark gray, and it's just turning into a slightly dark purple. This one is like a lightish brown color, and it changes to a dark purple. So I'm going to give this one B tier. I'm going to give this one C tier. Speaking of low kicks, this one's called Nimble, I believe. I'm going to put it in A tier. I know I said I don't like bug Pokemon, but this is an example of a bug Pokemon done right. This is the color they should have chosen for low kicks, but they didn't. This is a nice, vibrant green. It's like an olive green, and I absolutely love it. It's so nice. Cyclizar. I'm putting you in B tier. You're solid, buddy, but you would be so much cooler if I could ride you. If Miraidon and Koraidon could be swapped with other Pokemon you could ride, I would absolutely choose Cyclizar. And I'll tell you why. If you look at other Cyclizar in the game, especially like the Team Star Cyclizar, they're wearing saddles and they are customized. Like, they are customized out the wazoo. And they look so nice. Their saddles are different colors. They've got stickers on them. If you could do that in the game, if you could customize your mount, it would be a completely different game. I would have a shiny one, I would put a blue saddle on it, and we'd call it a day. And it would be an S tier, but you can't do that, so. Smoliv, Arboliva, and Bolivia. Whatever. I don't know what this Pokemon's called. They're all olives. They're fine. I'm going to put them in B tier. They're huntable, but they go from green olives to black olives. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to move this one down, because these olives are already, like, darker. Like, this one doesn't have green olives. It has, like, purple olives, and they change from purple to black. So if they went from green olives to black, I would probably keep it in B tier, but I'm going to move it down to C. I like Smoliv. It's a good Pokemon, and I like that the olive turns black, but it's hard to see. It's hard to hunt for. Not my cup of tea. I wouldn't go for it. Alright. This is an example of a good shiny, and I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a little biased here. Palmy, A tier. Palmot, A tier. Palmo, S tier. And I'll tell you why. Look at these two together. Look at these two. This is red, this is pink. If you can tell, I have a thing for pink. I love pink. Pink is such a good color when it comes to a shiny Pokemon. And I know this is easy to see, it's vibrant, it's nice, but it's just not this level pink. And look at its little cheeks. It goes from dark, like Pikachu colored cheeks to light yellow. I love it. I have nothing else to say. It's just nice. Espathra, I'm gonna put it in B tier. It changes, decently. It's easy to see. I actually found this Pokemon as 100% full odds, and I knew that it was gonna be shiny because I had traded for a shiny Espathra. So having seen one in the wild, I can tell you, yes, it's easy to notice. It's a nice shiny. I just don't like Espathra. Espathra is not a good Pokemon in general, but it has a decent shiny. It changes enough. Rellor. Rellors are great shiny. It changes from moving around this ball of what looks like mud to a ball of just gold. And that's innovation. Game Freak, when it comes to making shinies, you gotta start making them like this. Innovation. You even change the texture from like a muddy texture to a gold texture. And that is innovation right there. You did the same thing with Fortress and Magikarp, and I love it. Their metals are so nice. Alright, moving on. Great Tusk. I put this one here, the Iron Tusk here. The Great Tusk is going in A tier. It is so noticeable. It is such a nice Pokemon. I probably would put it in S tier if I had Scarlet, but I didn't choose Scarlet, I chose Violet. So it's going in A tier. I think that's welcoming. This one's Garganacl. I think I'm going to put it in A tier as well. I like Garganacl because it has more salt that changes color. It's very easily noticeable. They're all over Area 0. Spoilers if you haven't made it there. But they're all over Area 0. They're fantastic. I love them. And I have nothing else to say. It's just a good shiny. I don't even know what this one's called. Sandy Shocks? Yeah, this is Sandy Shocks. And it's going in C tier. It is not good. I think I would prefer to get a regular Magneton or Magnezone or whatever. I would rather have one of those than have one of these. This is not good. It changes to a gold color. It's fine. The little bottom parts change. It makes sense. It's understandable. But again, I'm probably biased because I don't have Scarlet, but I just don't like it. Wug Trio, I think this Pokemon's called. We're going to put it in A tier. It changes well. It's easy to notice. It goes from red to blue, but I just think it's cliche. I know I've been saying that I like Pokemon that change color very vibrantly, but this was just not the move. It went from red to blue, and not even a good blue. It's like a really dark, disgusting blue. It should have been light, if you ask me. Like Orthworm. Orthworm is the example of a perfect red to blue. I'm glad this Pokemon was next because it leads to a great segue to talk about Orthworm. When you have a Pokemon that's red and metallic, what do you do with it when you make it shiny? This is exactly what you do with it, and that's why it's going in S tier. It's perfect. Everything about it is absolutely perfect. I have nothing else to say. It's just a good Pokemon. I'm gonna say the same thing with I don't even know what this one's called. I know we got Nacli and Garganacl, and then you have the one in the middle. Super forgettable. It's going in C tier. If I see it, I'll catch it, but I'm not going out of my way to hunt for it. If I had this, I would just evolve it. That's all there is to say. Now the same thing goes with, I think this one's called Rabska. I'm going to put this one in A tier as well with Rellor, because, I mean, look at them side by side. I can't put them side by side. Hold on. There we go. Look at them side by side. You have this Rellor that's pushing around this gold ball. And what it looks like is it picks up the gold ball, and then the gold ball melts onto it, and then what's left behind is this aura of red and purple. It's really nice. And then it's covered in gold, and it's I have little words for why I love this Pokemon, but it's very nice. I love it. A tier. Spidops, I'm gonna put in B. I have nothing more to say. It goes from being like a green yellow to a pink. I know I said I love pink and I'm biased towards it, but Spidops was just not the equivalent of what I would say, you know, pink is. This is the Pokemon I was thinking of when I was talking about the paint Pokemon. This one, Graphite. This one evolves into Graphite, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But I'm gonna put it B tier. It's a little better because I like the eyes. They look like jelly and they're really easily noticeable, and I just really like them. There's not much else to say. Tarantula. Absolutely S tier. Love it. It goes from being yellow to red, or actually, is it yellow? No, it's white. It goes from being white to red. It's super easy to notice. It's right on Poké Path when you get out of the gate. It's so nice. I love Pokemon, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love Pokemon that are easy to notice when you're starting out in the game. You leave Poké Path, and you see all these Pokemon, and you see one that looks different, and you catch it. It's perfect. Everything about it. Just absolutely perfect. On the opposite end of that spectrum, you have Pokemon like this. Tauros. L. Is this shiny? Is this... Did they accidentally put the regular one on the list? You can't tell. It doesn't matter, because it's the same color. I don't know why they put the water one here, because they're all bad. They're all awful. It changes from dark gray-black to slightly darker gray-black. It baffles me that someone at Game Freak said, you know what, this is the shiny, alright? And they presented this to the class, and everyone else was like, yeah, that's the shiny, of course. What happened? Fire the man who made this. Fire him. If I could make my own list, or my own, you know, category for this one, it would go under L. Absolutely. It's awful. The worst one of the game, by far. Tentacool is going in A tier. I love it. It's a nice silver, easy to notice, especially in the forest that's full of colors that it's located in. Tentacool does not get the same love, but it's also going in A tier. It's nice. It changes to a nice vibrant pink, and I love pink. I've said it before, say it again. And I don't really have much else to say about it. It's just a good shiny. I like it. Let's go in there. Wattrel. This is actually Kilowattrel. I don't think Wattrel's on this list, which it should be, but the shinies are similar enough. I'm going to put them in the same spot. They're both going in D. It's this fallacy they have with birds, where they think that if you make a bird, you have to just change it a little bit. You could have changed the yellow. Like, the yellow could have been a completely different color. I get it's an electric type, but look at what you did with my boy Bellybolt. He's going in A tier because you changed him a lot. And he still looks like an electric type. I don't know. I don't know what the idea with Kilowattrel was, but we're putting Bramblin in D tier. I don't know what they were doing with this line. This Pokemon shouldn't even exist. It's not good. If it's your favorite, I'm sorry. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Now, this Diglett. I'm going to put it in S tier. I like it a lot, but not for the reason you'd think. When it comes out of the ground, it's supposed to be white, and they change it to like this really weird golden yellow color. It's darker than a yellow color. The thing I like most about it, though, is the mouth. The mouth is very nostalgic because it looks just like Diglett's shiny. But, unlike Diglett's shiny, they changed the rest of the body, and that deserves an S for me. Innovation that excites. Not sponsored, but I love it. It's perfect. Same thing would go for this Fungus, Amoongus looking thing. I'm going to give it A tier, and it's just pretty obvious. It changes color. I would put Fungus and Amoongus in the same spot as Brute Bonnet. I would put them in A tier, and that's why I'm putting him in A tier. Well, this is my tier list. If you want to take a look at it and, you know, make adjustments, make comments, I think that that's pretty good. And I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.